Commerce, our Board of Directors, and our membership businesses, I'm pleased to welcome you to the Town of Colonie Candidate Forum for Town Board. One bit of housekeeping, if we could have everyone in the audience please silence your cell phones as a consideration to your fellow voters as well as our candidates. My name is Tom Nolte, President of the Colonie Chamber, and I'd like to thank our fellow sponsors, the Spotlight News, as well as the League of Women Voters, for putting on tonight's forum. A special thank you to our hosts here at Shaker High School. We all know that Colonie is a great place to live, to work, to play, and to vote. We appreciate the candidates for their participation this evening in order to allow you, the voter, to make an informed decision when you go to the polls. I thank you for being here, and at this time, I'd like to introduce our moderator from the League of Women Voters, Larissa Reed.
Thanks to everyone for joining us here in the audience, and for those of you that will be watching this at home later, thank you to those of you that are going to be doing that as well. Thank you, Tom. Welcome to the Candidate Forum for the 2023 Colonie Town Board election. As Tom mentioned, my name is Larissa Reed. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters of Albany County. And just so you know, I do not live and vote here. I live and vote in the town of Bethlehem, and I will be the moderator for the next few hours. This forum, as just mentioned, is being co-sponsored by the Colonie Chamber and the Spotlight newspapers, and I also, from the point of view from the League of Women Voters, wanted to thank our hosts at Shaker High. Before we begin, just a little housekeeping. Take a look around to where the exits are. There's also bathrooms out in the hall behind us. Just as a reminder, the forum cannot be recorded by members of the audience, but Spotlight Newspapers is recording the forum, and in about a day or a day and a half, it'll be available on the web. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization dedicated to informed and responsible participation in government. The League never supports any candidate or political party. This has been our policy for over 100 years. For more information about this election, future elections, and candidates, you can go to vote411.org, the League's voter information website, or you can visit the Albany County or the State of New York Boards of Elections websites. For all three, everything's getting so much easier. You can just type in your address and you will get election information specific to where you live. I'm going to mention a few ground rules that our group here has agreed to for the remainder of the evening, and this will govern how we proceed. Questions that I'm going to be asking this evening were developed from community input to the co-host tonight. Candidates have chosen lots to determine the order of speaking, and they're going to alternate at my direction. I did mention that my little cheat sheet gets a little confusing, and I know they'll correct me if I forget somebody by accident. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement, 1 minute to answer each question, and 1 minute for a closing statement. Each candidate also has 1 red card, which allows them 1 minute of extra time to answer 1 question. The candidate may use the red card 1 time to add to their answer after all the other candidates have spoken. Red cards are not going to be able to be used to either add time to the opening or closing statements. So, our timer up front here is Tom Nolte. He's a member of the League of Women Voters. All are welcome in the league. And Tom has some cards that he'll be sharing and holding up for our candidates tonight. A blue card, which really only pertains to the opening statement, is 1 minute left. A yellow card means 30 seconds, and a red card means your time is up. And so thank you, Tom. I realize that people in the audience may feel strongly about one candidate or other, but please, we insist that candidates and the audience treat each other with respect this evening. Personal attacks will not be allowed, and please hold your applause till the end of our program, really so we have more time to hear from the candidates tonight. Our event is expected to run for about an hour, a bit longer depending on the flow. And so, as the candidates know, we've asked that all campaign literature, etc., will be held until the end of the program, and there'll be time after the program to meet with the candidates with the audience outside. So this year, and I'm going to do this in order of who's here on the dais so that you know who's up here. We drew lots. So Kristen Lace will be starting us off, followed by Asim Kumar, then Zubair Ahmed, Mark McCumber, Rick Fields, and Paul Nyland, my far left. I just want to also mention that I'm doing research in preparation for this evening because this can be confusing, and I wanted to mention this because it's being recorded. The town of Colonie ballot will have these candidates listed as council members. In common parlance, the phrase town board member is used, but we're going to be using those interchangeably, and I just wanted to make sure that, especially for any new voters in the audience, that they know it's one and the same. And just a little bit about the town board, and we'll begin. The town board controls town finances, legislation and policy, and acquisition of real property. It appoints all non-elected officers and employees of the town, including members of the planning board and zoning board of appeals. Along with the supervisor, the town board creates and appoints unpaid members to various advisory boards, and the town board also votes on the budget recommended by the supervisor and on any budget modifications or transfers. The town board consists of an elected supervisor serving a 2-year term and 6 elected town board members, which each serve 4-year terms that are staggered, and serve the town at large. The election will be held on Tuesday, November 7th, 2023, or you can vote at early voting sites throughout Albany County, starting Saturday, October 28th through Sunday, November 5th. Now we will begin with Kristen's opening statement. You have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Councilwoman Kristen Blaze, and I'm excited to be running as a Republican and conservative endorsed candidate for the upcoming town board election. First, I would like to thank the League of Women Voters, Spotlight Youth, and Colonie Chamber of Commerce for holding this event, as well as the members of the community who submitted questions. My husband Austin and I moved to Colonie 8 years ago when he was hired as a Colonie police officer. Since moving here, we have grown to a family of 6, created a large daycare program in Colonie, and supported a number of youth sports organizations. It is because of these experiences that I am committed to ensuring the town we call home remains a safe place for our families and businesses. I'm a small business owner. In 2017, I started a daycare business out of the basement of my home. In 2019, my husband and I purchased a vacant church, and we converted it to a beautiful daycare center in the village of Colonie. Today, we are building a second location at a previously condemned property in Langham. I am proud to provide this critical service for our families of Colonie. I'm also a community supporter. I've spent time coaching youth sports, served on the Parent-Teacher Association board for Beater Elementary, and I continually donate to youth organizations. As a mother, I will always be an advocate for our youth. I'm a military veteran. I spent more than 10 years in the Air National Guard, where I held various positions from the medical field to operations to financial management and budgeting. I am a proud American, a wife, a mother of 4 beautiful children, and your neighbor. I'm committed to ensuring that our town upholds its reputation of being a sought-after and highly desirable place to live and work. I am choosing to have a say in our town's future, and with your support, we can build a better Colonie. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Asim Kumar. I am honored to be endorsed by both the Democratic and Independent No Party to run for the Colonie's Town Board seat. First, I want to thank all my sponsors, our sponsors, for hosting this event. I never dreamed that I would have this opportunity to run as a candidate for Colonie's Town Board. My wife Neelam and I moved to Albany from India in 1989 with just $20 in our pocket. We became a US citizen in 1997 and have been a registered independent since then. We bought our house and moved to Colonie the same year. I currently work as an environmental engineer with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. I work on various committees and distribute roughly $30 million to various government entities and municipalities. I am also a member of the New York State Public Employee Federation Executive Board. We have raised 2 beautiful kids in Colonie who attended North Colonie School District and benefit from the excellent education they received here. They were very fortunate to attend the Harvard University after graduating from here. Everyone asks why I am running. I am running because I am grateful to our community and our country for the opportunity that has been given to me and my family. I want to express my gratitude to public service. I believe that I have both work and life experiences needed to make a significant contribution to our town. I want to make sure that Colonie remains a safe, affordable, and a fun place to live and work and raise a family. Thank you very much.
Zubair Ahmed.
Hello, good evening. My name is Zubair Ahmed. I'm running on the Democratic and Independent parties. I just wanted to say thank you to the Spotlight News, the Chamber of Commerce, and the League of Women Voters, and Shaker High School, and obviously our moderator, Marissa. As a lifelong resident of Colonie, local business owner, and longtime community leader, I want to serve our residents as town council member. I appreciate and support of my candidacy for a 4-year term on the town council. I'm a proud Shaker graduate who grew up in Colonie, where my physician father and homemaker mother instilled in me the values of community service, building bridges, and hard work. I care deeply about representing the town effectively, and will get things done using a bipartisan approach. From Colonie Youth Court to Habitat for Humanity, I spent countless hours serving the community as a lifelong resident. Through my volunteer work, I identified opportunities for improvement in the community. With over 400 hours of volunteering at the Samaritan Suicide Prevention Hotline, it instilled in me an understanding of the importance of acting with empathy and to have mental health care access for all. I look forward to the opportunity to continue to serve the community, both as an elected town council member and a resident. As a recent president of the Islamic Center of the Capital District based in South Colonie, I was humbled by the opportunity to lead the organization's interfaith program, regional food bank affiliated food pantry, and mentorship of young people. With over 15 years of experience as an entrepreneur buying, selling, and renovating properties in the Capital District with a proven track record of success, I also care deeply about community engagement, services, and improving the business environment for local business owners. I hope I can count on your support in the election on November 7th. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark McCumber, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Mark McCumber, and I'm running for Colonie Town Board, both endorsed by the Republican Party and the Conservative Party. My wife, Janine, and I grew up here in Colonie. I graduated from Shaker. She graduated from Colonie. We raised our family here in Colonie. We have 2 wonderful children who graduated from Colonie. Janine and I have wonderful memories from both growing up here in Colonie and raising our family here. Our town is a wonderful place to live, and it is my goal to keep it that way. I recently retired from the Federal Aviation Administration. I spent over 40 years as an air traffic controller. I started my career in the Navy. The Navy was where I really learned how to control aircraft. I was hired by the Federal Aviation Administration. The last 20 years of my career, I was in a management position. I was the manager of Albany Air Traffic Control for over 14 years. Then I was the manager of LaGuardia Airport in New York City. I bring over 20 years of executive experience to the Colonie Town Board. But that's not what I was most proud of. During my career with the FAA, I served on several special teams. One was the Quality Through Partnership Coordinator, and later on, the Collaboration Facilitator. I would travel around the country teaching other air traffic managers, controllers, and union leaders the importance of collaboration skills, communication skills, and teamwork. I believe these skills, combined with my executive experience, make me a strong board member. Tonight is a great opportunity for the residents of Colonie to hear from all of the candidates. And I would like to thank the Colonie Chamber of Commerce, the League of Women Voters of Albany County, and the Spotlight News for sponsoring this forum tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Frederick Fields.
Yeah, I would first of all just like to have a moment of silence here for the Middle East. We can think of them and say a prayer that we have peace in the Middle East. Thank you. Who is Rick Field Sr.? Well, that's me. I'm a deputy supervisor, town of Colonie, councilman, town of Colonie. The reason I say senior is because I have a son who's a junior, he's 52 years old, and it was hard convincing people that I was the one running for office 4 years ago when I was running. It wasn't junior, it was senior. Why do I love the town so much? Well, the proof is that I've never left. I've been here for 74 years. Matter of fact, right down the hallway here, I met my wife at the bookstore, and that was 1964, and we've been married for 53 years. My children and grandchildren all went to Colonie schools here, St. Pius, St. Ambrose, Calvary Methodist, CBA, Shaker High School, Junior High School, Colonie. And I like what I've seen, and I like what we've accomplished here in the town of Colonie over just the last couple of years. And as a matter of fact, when I wrote these things down, I thought to myself, this is pretty phenomenal. When you look at the road situations, you look at the recreation, and having to overcome challenges of COVID and a cyber attack on the town. Other municipalities had also received a cyber attack, but they wound up spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to actually, as a ransom. So I originally ran so that possibly my grandchildren, 16 of them, might be able to buy a house here in Colonie. So we kept the taxes lower than any other municipality in the area. So, and that's why I'm running for re-election.
Thank you. Paul Nyland.
First, I would like to thank the League of Women Voters, Colonie Chamber of Commerce, Spotlight Newspapers for putting together tonight's event. I would also like to thank everyone here in attendance tonight. My name is Paul Nyland. I'm the Democratic and Independent candidate for Colonie Town Council. I'm a lifelong Colonie resident, union electrician, and proud father supporting a middle-class family. I'm running for town board because I believe we can make our community an even better place to live, work, and raise a family. I'm committed to maintaining low taxes, supporting our first responders, and supporting responsible development that balances economic growth and environmental responsibility while preserving the character and quality of life here in Colonie. For me, it also comes down to giving back to a town that I grew up in, a town I'm choosing to raise my family in. There's an old Jackie Robinson quote I keep on my desk at work. He once said a life is not important except for the impact it has on other lives. I try and live by that every day. Whether I'm representing my members at work, improving their lives, their families' lives, I'm coaching youth baseball right here in the town. And I know if elected to the town board, those same values will translate and will strive to have positive impacts on the town and its residents every opportunity that I can.
Thank you. Since we're up here and we're being recorded, I just wanted to check in with our team. Should we be swiveling the mics, or are we doing okay? Okay, great. Swivel the mics a little bit more. If we can help each other, just remember to do that, so I don't have to jump in front of you and hopefully not fall off the stage. Okay, this is the portion of our informational forum where I'm going to be asking the candidates questions again that came in from the community. And so we're going to rotate, as I mentioned earlier. I just want to remind our candidates that you have 1 minute to answer each one of these questions. And if you'd like to add on, you can use your red card one time during this. And once everyone finishes there, they'll come back to you. You can have your extra minute. So we're going to rotate now. And you all gave very thorough and thoughtful opening statements. Thank you so much. But I'd like to hone the question a little bit and ask you more discreetly. And we're going to start with Mr. Asim Kumar. Mr. Kumar, what skills do you have that would best benefit the town? You have 1 minute.
Being an environmental engineer, I have extensive experience where I will bring my expertise in engineering to help the town. Listen, the most important skill that I possess is that when I have knocked at more than 550 streets out of 1,400 streets in the town, I listen to the people. I listen to diverse opinions and then deliberate on those internally and decide what is the best outcome is. And one thing I have learned, that if I listen and address the issue, because after all, as a person, I am here to serve the town's need than my own need. And what I will bring out is basically a cooperation. I do not have any ego. I will go to each town board member and convince them or be convinced by them why the decision has to be made.
Thank you. Mr. Ahed.
Thank you. So with my prior history on several boards, including the last one as president, I've learned how to work with a board. I've learned how to oversee budgeting, finance, and everything that falls under an institution. I've learned a lot about 501c3s, not-for-profit organizations as well. I believe I have a wealth of knowledge that I can bring along to the board. Also being an entrepreneur, having opened a business in the town of Colonie, I went through the process, all the way from permitting, all the way to opening. So I was able to learn that process as well. And I think I can be a good liaison, if anything, to the people that are looking to improve on the small business needs. And I think finally, just listening to the people, getting out there, knocking on the doors now. But if I'm elected, listening to the people at the board meetings and at other times and seeing what their needs are and how the board can help meet those needs.
Great. Thank you. Mr. McCumber.
Thank you. As I mentioned in my opening statement, I have 20 years of executive experience in the federal government, working with budgets and other parts of decision-making. But again, I worked for the FAA, and Reagan fired all the air traffic controllers in 1981. The FAA saw the problems starting to happen again while I was at the FAA. They came to me and they asked me to join special teams, quality through partnership and collaboration facilitator, because they didn't want the same thing to happen again. So I traveled around the country, teaching other air traffic managers, controllers, and union leaders the importance of collaboration, the importance of communication, and how they help us get past roadblocks, the importance of teamwork. We were able to bring teams together, get over bad situations. I'll be able to bring those skills to the board when we do have different sides. We do have different opinions. I'll be able to work through them for the rest of the board.
Thank you. Mr. Fields.
I've been in business in this town within blocks of where I'm sitting now since 1972. And as a result, right now I'm in the real estate business. We have 22 agents. And in negotiating, you can only imagine over 4,000 homes in the last 45 years of being in the real estate business. And prior to that, I was in the catering business and sandwich shop business. Actually, the first paycheck I ever got was when it was in January when I was first elected from the town of Colonie. Up to that point, I personally had business for myself, so you had to fend for yourself. You had to buy your own insurance. You had to plan for your own retirement. So, and I've been here for 4 years, and as a result, what we've been able to accomplish dealing with what we had to deal with, it gives me the experience that I would need to continue for another 4 years.
Thank you. Mr. Nyland.
At a time where you see infrastructure needing upgrades really across the country, right out of high school, I joined the construction field. And I spent 13 years in the field. So my background there is infrastructure. I think we need to tackle problems before they come issues, right? Repair our water lines, our sewer lines, before they break. After spending 13 years in the field, I'm now an assistant business manager where I represent middle-class workers. I think I can do that to benefit the town there. We have a large population of that, and I'd be looking forward to representing that.
Thank you. And Ms. Blaze.
When we look at the town, we have to look at the town almost like a business. There's multiple avenues and departments that need a single point of contact to assist them with everything that's needed in order for them to operate. And I have that experience from the business aspect. I understand the financial piece. I understand the impact that the employees, recruitment, and staffing have on the town. And from my opinion, in being a small business individual and a military individual, I am able to see both sides of the lines. I'm able to see what we need in order to work towards a better colony, and I'm able to help facilitate those resources by working collaboratively with all the departments, listening to the residents, by ensuring we have a sound financial background, and by using my individual experience. And and taking a more proactive approach rather than a reactive approach to ensuring that we make everything successful.
Thank you. I'm going to move on to our second question now, and we're going to start with Mr. Ahmed. The growing housing crisis is hitting all communities. What should Colonie do to
So Colonie is very big on, we're very lucky here to have affordable housing. I think there's a big balance that has to be done with the board in keeping our taxes low while also being able to maintain, development as well, smart development. Part of the reason why we have affordable housing here and why our taxes are lower for our owners is because we have a lot of commercial properties in the town of Colonie. If you look on Route 9, Route 7, Route 5 corridors, they help offset that, the tax roll. So being on the board, I would, continue to maintain that and work with the board to develop, whatever needs to be done in order to keep that balance for everyone, affordable housing.
Thank you. Mr. McCumber.
Colonie needs to continue to grow, but while we're growing, we need to encourage smart growth. We need to consider and emphasize preserving open spaces, farmland, and natural beauty. We have to continue to maintain our parks and recreation. While strengthening our development, we need to promote incentives so that developers will reuse, reclaim, repurpose vacant buildings and vacant lots. It just makes sense. The infrastructure is already there. We have to support mixed use means when developing. Tobin Packing Project is a great example of this. We need to create a range of housing, make sure there's different types of housing for our residents. We also have to consider the rights of the property owners. And we have to make the process predictable, fair, and cost-effective. Following these ideas, I think will help for Colonie to continue to grow, but also improve our way of life.
Thank you. Mr. Fields.
I don't necessarily know what you mean by crisis. It seems like every house that's on the market's got about 5 offers on it. Sometimes they're equal to or over the asking price. So in Colonie, there's so many people who are interested in getting into the town, even the builder. I was listening to a prominent builder on the radio the other day. They told the audience on the radio that the average price of a new house today is $680,000. But he says he's got a line of people that are buying these homes. So as a result, I guess you have double income families with decent jobs in the area here who are building and buying. And I know there was a difficulty for 1 month in April 3 years ago. Then from May on to the present day, frankly, I don't see where there's any crisis in housing.
Thank you. Mr. Nyland.
Affordable housing is, I think it's definitely a concern. It's extremely difficult for someone trying to purchase their first home right now. I think we do need to make sure our tax base, does remain strong. This also leads into the conversation with affordable housing for seniors. We need to ensure our seniors have a place to live, choose to downsize, whatever the case may be. The development project on Elks Lane is a good example of this. Rents are regulated there, so rent cannot go up dramatically over time. I think that's very important that we provide that for our seniors here. I would be in favor of any projects that are similar in nature.
Thank you. Ms. Blake.
Thank you. I believe that we need to have a healthy balance between the commercial and residential development in the town. As I stated in my opening statement, I've purchased previously vacant and condemned properties and turned them into much needed business space for providing childcare in the area. That is something that I want to push forward with in educating the community and the small business owners that want to open the businesses in their area where they live. Give them the resources that they need in order to revitalize and redo vacant and condemned locations. The same goes for the housing. People can Instead of instead of building new, we can redo houses that were. That brings value to the property and to the community in which the people live. As,
Thank you. Mr. Kumar?
That's a very wonderful question. As I mentioned that I have walked more than 500 streets, I am listening, and I was asked this question. What I feel, and I thought about, I think undeveloped areas need to be revitalized. What I see, the Railroad Avenue and Central Avenue. If we can further develop these areas, this will bring more value to the entire town and also make more town affordable place to live. We want to make use zoning in a smart way to both protect the characteristics of residential areas in our town, while also investing in new businesses to come and build in Colonie. We should also consider providing property tax relief for poorer members of our community who are on fixed income, as we do not want them to be priced out of living in our town. It's also worth trying to develop policies that would convince remote workers to choose and live in town, as this will incentivize our town's economy and improve. And I feel that we need to provide services also to small businesses so we can increase our revenue.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. McCumber, next question. And some of you touched on this, but let's again try to get to a finer point on some of this for our voters in the community. What will you do to support developing and growing businesses in the town of Colonie?
Economic development, Colonie needs to continue to grow. We need to attract new industries. We need to attract well-paying jobs. We want to do this because we don't want our families, as they grow, have to leave to find well-paying jobs and careers. Colonie is a very attractive location. We can promote Colonie. We have the Thruway, we have the Northway, and of course, we have a beautiful airport. Our taxes are low. We have good schools that are able to educate future workers. We want to encourage growth. And on the town board, we will continue to encourage new companies to enter into Colonie. But we need to manage that growth so we don't infringe on our neighborhoods. We have well-established neighborhoods that have unique characteristics, and we don't want to ruin them. So as we encourage growth, we must be smart with our incentives. And I spoke about that a little bit earlier, about our smart incentives. We have to protect our open spaces, farmland, and
Thank you. Mr. Fields?
Well, as deputy supervisor, I have to substitute occasionally, quite occasionally, quite often actually, in ribbon cutting. And as a result, these new businesses are coming into town. It seems like there's a couple a week. Supervisor Crummy tries to get to most of them, but can't do it. It's just amazing how many new businesses of all kinds are opening up in this town. So if somebody is doing the right thing, because frankly, if you read the business review and see all the different businesses that are growing, it's just phenomenal. It smiles on the faces of the owners or the proprietors of these places is fantastic. So whatever we're doing now is we just better continue to do.
Thank you. Mr. Malik?
Businesses play a vital role in the town of Colonie, really are the backbone of this community. Talk about job creation. Small businesses are major employers in the town, create job opportunities for local residents. These jobs contribute to the local economy. Talk about businesses, you talk about economic development. You know, businesses are important drivers of economic growth and development in the town, contribute to the tax base, attract investments, help create a vibrant business community. You know, small businesses often support other local businesses and organizations in the community as well. They source material or services from other local businesses, sponsor community events, contribute to local charitable organizations.
Thank you. Ms. Blaze?
thank you. As a small business owner, I am an avid supporter of the creation and development of small businesses within our town. The small business owners drive economic growth and they help strengthen our community ties. Many of our businesses give back directly to the community in which they are through sports organizations or community assistance. They do donations, they create and incentivize and reinvest into our town. They also create unique and specialized products that are individualized to their area. On top of job creation, I do believe that small business owners should receive tax incentives. And we should do better as a town by guiding them on how to develop and what the process is in order for them to come to our town so that we can set them up to be successful.
Thank you. Mr. Kumar?
I totally agree that growing a small business is the backbone of our community. We need to publicize the town of Colonie is interested in promoting a small business to attract more growth, jobs, and financial development to our community. Small business ownership has been a pathway to middle class for generations of Americans and continues to be a crucial tool for expanding prosperity and community self-determination. Enacting policies that strengthen small business and expand opportunities for local entrepreneurship is a very effective way to reducing inequality and expanding the middle class. I will also like to emphasize that opportunities for residents to launch businesses that meet community needs in retail, services, food production, and other sectors have been greater impact. Locally owned businesses in dense mixed-use commercial districts generate more tax revenue for town.
Thank you. Mr. Ahmed?
One of the disbenefits being the last one, it's, you end up saying a lot of the things that everybody else has already said, but on a personal note, being a small business owner, and especially opening a business in Landfill, I walked through that entire process. I'd like to get out there alongside of the Chamber of Commerce to the ribbon cuttings. I'd like to join people on the front line. I'd like to be there, face to face and show that the board can support them and walk them through those processes. Small business is a huge background. It obviously creates jobs as well. So I would be out there on the front line with the people, working with them, helping them, maybe streamline some of the processes as well to do business in the town of Colonie.
Thank you. Okay, my next question, we're going to start with Mr. Fields. The group of migrants staying in Colonie have raised concerns for some residents. What do you think should be done as we go forward?
I think we have to listen to our attorneys that we hired to help us in an injunction. Unfortunately, the judge overruled the fact that they really shouldn't be coming into the town based on the fact that it's causing some problems. I know more recently, within the last 2 weeks, there was quite an incident over there on Wolf Road. And I guess that unfortunately it's costing the town more than it should, because we have to have certain more police force on duty to handle things. I mean, I was told by someone who frequents the Dunkin' Donuts over there that it's hard to actually get them out. They go in there and they fall asleep and they won't leave. So it's obviously a problem. We tried to.
Time is up, sir. Thank you. Mr. Nyland?
I think we can all agree that the situation was handled poorly at the higher levels. Really, right from the time .go was awarded a no-bid contract. The company has dropped the ball numerous times throughout this process. Our supervisor was right when he said Mayor Adams doesn't care about the well-being of those he sent here. Individuals were sent here without a plan, without the resources they need. At this point, we should be focusing on what we can control at the town level. We need to put pressure on those that can get these individuals to work legally. They can start paying taxes and get them off the sources that cost the taxpayer money. In this year's town budget, there's a quote from an economist that states, due to an aging labor force, we expect tightness in the labor market to remain an ongoing challenge in the foreseeable future. It's not just here in the town, it's across the country. You know, we're at a time where we see a need for employees across several industries, in hospitality, agricultural, construction, to name a few. And if we don't fill these gaps, we'll have a negative impact on our economy. I'd also like to thank our first responders who have been called to the hotel, various businesses to handle various situations, and have been met with challenging circumstances, and continue to be the professionals that they are.
Thank you, Mr. Nyland. Just want to remind our candidates to glance up once in a while. I know some of you have prepared notes tonight to our timekeeper here with Tom. Thank you. Ms. Blades.
I'd like to start by saying I do think that immigration is more of a federal issue. We need to push the federal, state, and county officials to give us more assistance at the town level. Mayor Adams dropped individuals off in the middle of the night on a holiday weekend with no notice to our town. Almost 100 people, 40 of which were children. He had no regard for their safety or well-being when he dropped them off to a hotel that has historically been known to have criminal activity in it. So we have policies of the town and regulations that restrict individuals from staying for long periods of time. And I think it's our responsibility to uphold that. That's why there's ongoing litigation within the court system. I do want to recognize our police department for the terrific job that they've done fielding the increased number of instances. And I also want to commend the North Colonie School District for doing a fantastic job with coordinating the enrollment, the placement, and the transportation of the children into the school year with little notice.
Thank you. Mr. Kumar.
As you know, the town of Colonie has sued New York City and Albany for their poor handling of the illegal immigration problem. I agree. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has dropped the ball by bringing these folks to Colonie. New York City is trying to push their problem to our community instead, and this is very unfair to us. Look, everyone in this room came here legally, and we are all productive citizens who contribute to society and pay our taxes. The town of Colonie does not have the resources that can support these people. We need a bipartisan approach and must be work with the state and federal government to get this problem removed. The town cannot solve this alone. And I want to thank the school district to take care of these kids, and also want to thank police for protecting these people.
Thank you. Mr. Ahmed.
First and foremost, I'd like to recognize all the police, the EMS, the fire, all the first responders in Colonie, as well as Supervisor Cumming and the entire board. It is not an easy task, what was dropped on their lap. Mayor Adams and DOTCO, they've done nobody any favors here. Nothing, for the community or for our town. And the town, just as far as I know, has handled this on a bipartisan approach. And I think that's very important to recognize as well. I personally have worked with organizations like USDRI to help with the placement of people that could come into this country legally. And I'd love to bring that wealth of knowledge and experience onto the board to help them think creatively on how we can help out in some situations.
Thank you. Mr. McCumber.
Thank you. I've been in several meetings with Supervisor Crummey where he stated he was elected to take care of Colonie and to protect the residents of Colonie. Immigration is a national issue. This is the sole responsibility of the federal government. Unfortunately, this issue was dropped on our doorstep in the middle of the night on a holiday weekend with no future planning. Let's make it perfectly clear. We're not against immigration. Immigration has made this country the great country that it is. But laws are broken, local laws are continuing to be broken. And Supervisor Crummey is handling this masterfully. He's pursuing all legal avenues possible so he can continue to protect the residents of Colonie.
Thank you. Moving on to our next question, and I'll be starting with Paul Nyland for this one. Can you swing the mic over to Paul, please? Thank you so much, Mark. Paul, what is the most pressing infrastructure need in the town right now, and how would you address it?
Aging infrastructure is an issue municipalities are facing across the country. I am committed to maintaining and improving our current infrastructure. If we have the funding for it, we should be working to fix our aging infrastructure before we have the issues with it. We can do this by being proactive, working with our department heads to get ahead of the issues we may face. This includes roads, sewers, water lines, as well as town-owned facilities.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Blaze?
Thank you. By investing in infrastructure improvements, we're investing in the longevity of the town. It's important for us to be proactive rather than reactive. Whether it be the aggressive road restoration program that's on track to pave over 200 roads in a 2-year period, or the installation of approximately 4,000 LED lights that will use 50% less electricity, and they produce a cost savings over the next 15 to 20 years. It's important that we continue to work together to identify the issues and upgrade them and provide the resources before they become a problem. Looking ahead, I'd like to continue my efforts to explore the additional funding opportunities at the county and state levels to help offset some of the costs that provide the longstanding additions and improvements to our system through things like grant opportunities and so on.
Thank you. Mr. Kumar?
I agree. Infrastructure is a very important aspect right now. As an environmental engineer, I will use my extensive professional knowledge and experience to help the town board make proper decisions. In my previous role at a Fortune 500 company, I worked on developing electrical motors using battery-powered buses to help lower emissions. In my current job, I approve public funds on various projects to incentivize and make sure that we use buffers, retention ponds, and we maintain erosion and sediment control, and due to it, lot of road runoff. I sit on New York State on many various committees such as Sustainability Committee, and I have an extensive experience which I will try to help with the town board. If elected, I will bring all foster cooperation to the town board, and I will implement best management practices to improve the infrastructure.
Thank you. Mr. Ahmed?
So I think a big focus should be alternative energy. As we know, with the New York governor, they're trying to limit the use of natural gas over the next, decade. So I think we need to get ahead of it and be prepared for that. We need to figure out how the town of Colonie can provide its citizens, the power and the alternative energy, and be able to keep up with the grid. That's going to be possibly an issue. I think solar panels on municipal buildings can help offset energy costs as well. So looking into alternative energy and working with the board together on being creative in those entities.
Thank you. Mr. McCumber?
Maintaining the infrastructure of the town the size of Colonie is a vast undertaking. The supervisor's team is hard at work every day making the improvements a reality. Over the past 2 years, the town has had a very aggressive repair schedule and repaving schedule for our over 200 roads. Better roads are safer roads for the town. The town recently also approved projects to upgrade the Landfill water district, replacing older equipment and making the process more efficient. The Landfill water district now has the ability to deliver on average 10 million gallons of potable water to homes and businesses throughout Colonie, and the ability to deliver up to 30 million gallons. We are continuing to improve our pure water district. On average, they process 6 million gallons through 400 miles of pipes and 30 pumping stations. The town is focused. We're always working to improve the infrastructure of Colonie.
Thank you. And last but not least, Mr. Fields?
Well, the town is old, very old in most areas. My own house is 90 years old. And so you get the sewer, you get the water, you get the roads, and frankly, there's not a meeting that goes by that we don't have to, have a resolution where we're fixing roads and water system and the sewer system. And even like a pump, a used pump for, the water department, at $500,000. Where do they come up with it? I think, Supervisor Crummy and our controller are like magicians, right? Coming up with money that it takes to fix these things. There's no quick fix on this. And, we just, fortunately, as I say, the tax situation in the town is wonderful because of the business situation. But the fact is, this is obviously a very difficult situation that probably uses up a tremendous percentage of our tax money.
Thank you. All right, we're back to number one. Great. I know that you all seem to have some prepared notes here this evening, and I think you all guessed well on what some of the key topics were that we were going to ask you first. So thank you for your preparation this evening. I have some other questions here. And again, feel free to glance up, and the camera is on. The audience is out here, and the camera is recording this as well. Ms. Blaze, the question for you. What is your opinion of current town board governance, and what concerns do you intend to address? Let me repeat that because I misspoke. What is your opinion of current town board governance, and what concerns do you intend to address?
I believe that Supervisor Crummy has done a fantastic job at ensuring that everybody is held accountable and that we are utilizing our resources to the greatest extent possible in order to ensure we're doing what's best for the town and the residents that are in the town. I have had some experience since June when I was appointed on the town board to meet a number of individuals at the department head levels, and they are all ensuring that they do what they are following the policies and the regulations, and I think that it's important that we continue to follow. Sorry. That's all. Sorry.
So
Mr. Kumar.
I think being an engineer, I will bring different perspective than most of the people who are present on the town board. Correct. I think a leader is a true leader if they listen. The best approach I found out about listening is going to knocking at people's door and listening to their ideas. As I walk on the streets of town of Colonie, I have different concerns. I will bring all those input and try to educate my town board member. And if I get elected, I will continue to listen and then educate myself and make opinions.
Great, thank you. Mr. Ahmed.
I don't see a ton of town board governance issues. What I would bring to the table is to continue to work on that bipartisanship. And then that's what's got us as far in this country, and I think that's what continues to get us ahead. Rather than pointing fingers and talking about parties and differences, what can we do for the town of Colonie and its people? And focusing on that and making sure that we always ask ourselves that question before anything else. Obviously, as a business owner, I get a lot of comments about how can we streamline the processes in the town of Colonie for somebody opening a restaurant or retail space. And I think, we can work together on becoming creative on how we can do that while maintaining the great standards that Colonie does have as well.
Thank you. Mr. McCumber.
Thank you. I'm relatively new to the town board. What I've seen so far is a well-oiled team working well together. I look forward to working with that type of team. We recently had a town board meeting where a member came up for the public comment. He says, when I have something wrong with the town, I'm going to speak up. But I also should speak up when things are going well. He goes, there was evidence that night at the town board meeting that the town is running like a Swiss watch. I look forward to continuing working with such a team.
Thank you. Mr. Field.
He took my thunder. This gentleman, he didn't mention the fact that the gentleman maybe 20+ years, you come to the microphone and complain about this and that and this and that, and then all of a sudden, we're all sitting there waiting for a complaint, he's got a big smile on his face and says, it's working with the Swiss watch, you know. But that was pretty remarkable, but Supervisor Cromie has created tremendous parity and synergism among the board members and department heads, and as a result, with his experience, he had a very short learning curve, let's put it that way. He knew basically what to do and how to do it, and as a result, once again, everyone's getting along great. I wish I could say that for the federal government, Congress and Senate.
Thank you, Mr. Nyland.
I think bipartisanship is very important to town government. We're voting on issues that affect town residents every day, roads, taxes. Bipartisanship is extremely important. And at a time now, we need to be fiscally responsible. So we need to make sure we're maintaining that balance of quality of services as well as maintaining that fiscal responsibility.
Thank you. Okay, our next, Mr. Kumar will take the next question. Mr. Kumar, two significant problems concerning the Colonie landfill are that odors drift into surrounding neighborhoods, as well as the fact that the landfill is filling up more quickly than was anticipated. What should the town do to address these problems?
So I believe the landfill, actually, I was asked by my neighbor, and I feel that one of the things we need to address is the cost per ton of being hauled to the landfill. Is this reasonable? And basically evaluate also for the future, where else we can go and provide these kind of services.
Thank you. Mr. Ahmed.
I know regarding the landfills, it's a hot topic and people are very concerned about it. I think the last time I looked into it, the area that they have for trash removal will last us, I think, at least another 15 or 20 years. I know a lot of people like to dig into the past and what happened and the sell-off and, just to be clear, the town still owns the landfill and Waste Connections manages it. So I think the bigger thing is to continue to work with the community, continue to work with the people that live around there and find out what their needs are. And if it means bringing in professionals, environmental engineers, or professionals in development, and that's what the town has to do in order to get professional opinions. As a town board, it is our responsibility to hire the people that are best suited for the job.
Thank you. Mr. McCumber.
The landfill is an issue that I haven't really heard a lot of problems about. I know that we still own the land, but it's managed by someone else. And I believe they're bringing in much more waste products than we did before we gave them permission. I'm the town board member. As a town board, that's where I need to use my skills to listen to everyone that has a problem with it. And then after listening to it, bring everyone together and come up with a solution to help answer those problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fields.
I think it always smells on real hot days. I think that I was asking someone about that, who was very active in the landfill, and I guess there's some kind of chemical they're using now that they use that eliminates the odor, of course. No one's mentioned the product that comes from the methane gas. And the second thing, being in real estate business, knowing that there's houses right there within 2 or 3 blocks away, and they don't seem to be hard to sell, okay, for $500,000+. So I don't know if there's a problem that some people are talking about, right?
Thank you. Mr. Nyland.
As far as landfills go, ours is it's really state of the art. We have very advanced technology there to ensure we are protecting the environment. With that being said, the landfill does have a life expectancy that will run out within the next decade. With the delays that can arise when you're seeking this new property for a long-term plan, I think that's something that we do need to act on now. And that it may need a regional effort to solve that issue.
Thank you. And Ms. Blaze?
Thank you. I do believe that the collaborative effort we're going to need to work with as well, just the town level, listening to the residents and ensuring that we take all avenues and suggestions into account when looking at the space, how much, and the odor that's being emitted. I haven't heard that as much when I've been out talking to the residents, but I have experienced it myself. So it is something that I believe we need to act now on, and we need to look for alternative options for disposal. And if that means bringing in professional resources in order to assist us with that, then that's what we should be doing as a town board.
Thank you. Our next question, I'll be starting with Mr. Ahmed. Given Colonie's central location, many non-resident drivers use town roads, and many of the roads traversing the town as cut-throughs. What would you do to alleviate traffic for residents?
So, to comment on this, I remember talking to, some of the members of the Colonie Police Department and, discussed some of these issues of people passing through the town. I think, obviously it's needed, you have Schenectady that comes through on Route 7, Route 5. But I think working with the police department as well, because I think they would have probably the best idea on how to, kind of maybe minimize or restrict some of that traffic, that's coming through. And I think that would, give us a lot of information. And then doing some studies as well, and again, going back to hiring people that know, these kind of things, maybe looking at other towns and cities in the nation and seeing what they've done, when it comes to larger development and how to handle this traffic.
Thank you. Mr. McCumber?
I think this issue is probably both a curse and a blessing. We're blessed to be in a central location. We have nice roads. We have good roads. We're continuing to improve them. The curse is that everyone needs to cut through here to get where they're going. It's a blessing because we can attract new businesses. I think it'd be kind of hard to start restricting traffic. The only way we could maybe improve it is to work on lighting, stoplights, the timing of that kind of stuff to keep the traffic flowing rather than creating bottlenecks. But start to curb the traffic would be difficult.
Thank you. Mr. Fields?
Well, if somebody complains about traffic, I think it just happened to go down Long Island for a day, and then you can see what real traffic is, 45 minutes, waiting. I mean, if somebody has to wait 8 minutes, I guess they start complaining about it, but ever since COVID and all these people working at home, I know that because going door to door campaigning, it's just remarkable how many people. Usually it was just older people, retired, but now it's young and old alike, and being in the real estate business and driving around this town as much as I do, I guess you can find shortcuts. The fact is, I don't really see a problem with the traffic here. 5 minutes, 7 minutes at the most, unless there's some kind of accident and some kind of something like that, or a road work being done. Otherwise, I don't really see that traffic problem.
Thank you. Mr. Nyland?
I think that's a great question, and I agree that it would be difficult to curb through traffic. I think when we look at, new development projects, we can use data, technology, kind of incorporate that, traffic studies, enhancing public safety, kind of do what we can to mitigate the traffic.
Ms. Blaze?
Thank you. I've had the opportunity to speak with a few different residents that have expressed concern on development and the traffic impacts that it would have regarding the Tillman First Prize development, or even through Pollock Road with the new community care development on Route 9. And many of the residents say that they want to see speed restrictions. They want to see the GPSs, the town working with the GPS individuals to ensure that they redirect traffic onto main roads and keep them off the neighborhood roads. It's something that we need to look into as we continue to develop more throughout the town. And Traffic studies are a key factor in ensuring that we get the most accurate information.
Thank you. Mr. Kumar.
I agree. Traffic studies is a very good way to handle this issue. I also would like to say that I have heard from a couple of neighbors when I have knocked on their houses that with their small kids, people are driving in 30-mile speed area. They're driving 40, 45 miles per hour, and they are concerned with their smaller kids playing on the streets. Also, there are one or two suggestions which I was thinking when I was driving. So if you are coming back to Colonie, one of the Colonie parks, you find out that in winter, we can actually, there is less traffic going to crossings, and we can change that light so that people don't have to wait too long. In summer, it's okay to wait, but in winter, where people, there is not oncoming traffic, then we should try to reduce that time. So traffic studies are a good way to handle this issue.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. McCumber, you have the first answer here. Colony parks are heavily used and there is not much undeveloped land here. Should Colony allocate funds to acquire open land for public uses?
I consider this a quality of life issue. Living in Colonie, we should be able to enjoy Colonie. I'm not sure exactly the way the question is phrased, but we have over 850 acres of parks and recreation that we continue to improve. Just a few examples. The Mohawk River Park. Over the past year, we've increased the Colonie Town Pool hours. We've built 8 pickleball courts, 2 tennis courts, improved the trails, and access for the first time to the Mohawk River. The Kiwanis Park, we built 2 pickleball courts and a basketball court. West Albany, for the first time, we're ice skating. We're going to ice skate again there in the winter. Our golf course has a master plan for the first time. There's going to be improvements coming. This is a quality of life issue, and I really don't understand the way they don't believe we have allocated enough parks and recreation for the town of Colonie. Thank you.
This past weekend, it was a beautiful weekend, one of the days. The result, I took my 2 grandchildren down for a bike ride down to the town park, Mohawk, and I may have seen 4 or 5 other people there, as it turned out. And then we take a trip over to the crossings and the vastness and the way they keep that place is just unbelievable. I mean, so seems to be all kinds of room over there. I don't know if we're in an economic time where we're going to set aside money that would, in some cases, be unnecessary when people aren't fully using what they have available to them at this point. And the golf course, that's remarkable. You got the greens over there are just phenomenal, and I know how much it costs to maintain a green as far as that goes. So, yeah, I think that a lot of people come from outside, as we all know, and use our parks.
Thank you. Mr. Nyland.
Colony's Parks and Rec are really what makes Colony. We have beautiful parks here in Colony we need to continue to maintain. If you visit the crossings at any time, you'll see people of all ages walking, utilizing the park. I think having a park to go to here in town helps someone maintain a healthy lifestyle. And you add in recreational activities such as tennis, golf, pickleball, bike trails, that can bring families, friends together in a healthy environment. I also think there is enormous potential along the Mohawk River. I will be supportive in any effort to reclaim that property for use for our residents.
Thank you. Ms. Blaze.
Thank you. I'd like to mirror a lot of what the candidates have said of having the best parks in the town. We have 4 children, my husband and I, and we visit the parks frequently, and we're lucky to have them. And I don't know if allocating funds to spend on open space is the most appropriate use of funds when we have other issues in town as far as staffing and recruitment problems. I do think that we should allocate significant funding to the parks to maintain them so we can have the pickleball and the tennis and the basketball courts that we have now, and we can continue to clean them up and make them the staple of our community.
Thank you. Mr. Kumar.
I totally agree that town is a beautiful place where we have a lot of parks, a lot of open spaces. I think by going to the parks, families enjoy the time there together. It's a quality of life issue. Look, I myself was invited last month to a pickleball game at town of Colonie, West Albany Park. And I really enjoy it. And what I think is, I totally agree that instead of buying more, we should focus on maintaining this park.
Thank you. Mr. Ahmed?
Yep, and I also agree, the parks in Colonie are top notch. A lot of our community events are held there, you know, we wouldn't want any other way. We have, pools up on the north side, we redid the splash pad recently, some of the filtration like, systems for the pool as well. We have the pickleball courts. There was an open space fund that was created on the board. So if I'm part of that board, I would like to explore that and see how that can be used. We do have almost 1,000 acres of green space, you know, in the town of Colonie right now that we have to maintain. One of the things I learned in developing a large property in Colonie was that the town is pretty restrictive on how much you can build on the actual land while trying to preserve that green space. So I think the town is doing a good job with that as well.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to start with Mr. Fields on this one. With a few specific exceptions, New York State town law requires officials and employees to be residents of and voters in Colonie. This law has not been universally enforced. Do you see a value in this requirement, and would you see that it's enforced?
I see a value in that requirement. I think that a person who works for the town very, very well should be living in the town. There's no, I think that wherever they have had that rule and kept to it, it's just nice to see the person. Yeah, it's like being a member of a club, and you know, you were a member of a club and you go to a different club. You know, when you're a member of a club, frankly, you take better care of it, okay? And you're more concerned about what happens in that club. The same thing with the town employee. If they're part of the system, part of the town, I think it's a good idea that we have that residency requirement, frankly.
Thank you. Mr. Nyland?
Yes, this is a great question. You know, I think when hiring workers for the town, we should look to residents first. But at an issue right now with the retention of workers, hiring workers, finding workers, Colonie needs to remain that quality of services. If we have to look outside town residents, we may have to do that. But I always first look at town residents when hiring. If needed, maintain that quality. We may have to move out.
Thank you. Ms. Blaze, excuse me.
Thank you. I'd like to mirror what Mr. Nyland said on using our town residents as first priority for offering that positions within the town. They tend to care more about where they're working because they live here. However, speaking as an individual that employs people, it's hard to find qualified staff, people that are reliable and that are willing to show up to do the job. So if it means that we have to look outside of the town to find the reliable, quality individuals, I don't want to put that off the table. I definitely believe that we need to look inside the town first for the residents, that we shouldn't exclude outsiders that are willing to come here and help us.
Thank you. Mr. Kumar?
I also would say that we should always try to hire first the people from the town. But we, in the process, people like me who came from abroad and I have been given opportunity, if people are qualified, they should be also provided the support. Without the support of this country, I would have not been in my position where I am today and I raised my family. So I fully think that it should be also based on merit also. That if we find the people with the merit, we should also provide them opportunities.
Thank you. Mr. Ahmed?
So it would be ideal to be able to find everybody that we're looking for in the town of Colonie to fulfill those jobs. But I don't think that's necessarily reality. In my prior leadership experiences and sitting on other boards, it always came back to looking for the best person for the job. One who's the most qualified, that happens to be outside of Colonie. I still think that takes precedent.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Kumar has raised his red card. Anyone else? Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Kumar.
So I would like to tell you one story. When I was a student at RPI, I was given an opportunity to work in a company which is a hedge fund located on 9 LS Street. I opened their office, I maintained their database, and I worked besides going to RPI for my master's degree. I was opening their office from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. and maintaining their database. And the reason they hired me, I was eligible to work here, but the reason they hired because I told them that I am most qualified, and they interviewed a lot of people and they gave me a preference. I was not even a person who was doing computer science, but I was offered that job. So I firmly believe that a person's merit should be given preferences on.
I'd like to apologize to Mr. McCumber. I should have had your turn before. I returned to Mr. Kumar. My apologies. And as I said, at some point, this thing would throw me off. So there you go. Please go ahead with your response to that question. I'm happy to reread the question.
No, it's quite easy. We all pretty much agree. I believe if you're going to be working for Colonie, and if you are going to make decisions for Colonie, you should be living here because then you're vested in the community. However, if there are no viable candidates, and we are in a tight labor market, then it's possible to look outside of Colonie. But for the most part, the priority should be given to residents of Colonie.
Okay. Let's see. Now we're going to start with Mr. Nyland. Mr. Nyland, are you in favor of or against term limits for town board members?
Yeah, that really is another great question. I think this should be decided by the residents of the town. I think it should be something that maybe we vote on it, like we voted on the term extension last time around.
Thank you. Ms. Blaze?
Thank you. I agree with Mr. Nyland again on this question. It needs to be an open forum discussion that needs to have input from the residents. We can't make that decision without having community input.
Thank you. Mr. Kumar?
I'm going to take a different position. I believe that as a town board member, we are here to serve the public. The day we stop serving the people, we should not be doing this position. So as far as the term limit is concerned, I think people have to decide themselves, but I'm ambivalent about this issue, and I would say that people should not serve. It should not be a career position. It should be served, and people, after serving, if they feel, they should get out and let other young people serve.
Thank you. Mr. Ahmed?
So I would be in favor of term limits, and I agree with some of the other candidates up here that I think the people of the town should be the ones to decide on those actual term limits, how long it is. But I think one of the issues with our nation as well is you have these long-standing congressmen and senators and assemblymen, and I do believe in change, when necessary. So I would be in favor of term limits. I'm not saying how long those terms would be. I think that would be a community decision, but I am in favor in change because I think that's how we move forward.
Thank you. Mr. McCumber?
This is another easy one. I've always believed in term limits. I believe it should be, you should come there, you should serve. It's the way the Constitution was written. The House of Representatives, they were supposed to have a career, come serve their country, and then return back to the field. Always been for term limits, but again, it should be up to the town residents. They should have a referendum on the process, but my opinion would be that there should be term limits.
Here, Mr. Fields?
Well, it's like bread in your microwave for a week type 10 days, you know, what happens to it? Starts to get a little moldy, so as a result, I think that's, what can happen to, people in office as well. You know, they get a little moldy and, our ideas, I think it's nice to have fresh ideas and youth involved. So what we actually really have to do is get more young people involved in the process. And, as a result, I believe that, term limits is a very good thing. As you look around, rest their souls of the ones that are basically dying in office, and they've been in there for like 48 years. It's unbelievable. So, anyway, I'm a proponent of the term limits.
Thank you. Okay, Kristen, this question will be for you, Ms. Blaze. What board committees would you hope to, in your case, continue to serve on if elected as a town board member, or for those of you that are running for the first time here, for to be assigned to? So let me repeat the question. What board committees would you hope to be assigned to or continue to serve on if elected as a town board member? Thank you, Ms. Blaze.
Thank you. So I'm currently the liaison for senior services, and it has been a pleasure to work with them. I've attended a number of meetings and received a wealth of knowledge from them. I would like to continue serving on the as a senior liaison. I've also been the liaison for the Prime House, which is a beautiful historical site that we have in town that I believe is underutilized. That we should be pushing more educational-based activities and historical-based activities at. I also thoroughly enjoy the planning and economic development piece of the town. As an individual who's built in the town, I understand the specifics of how the boards run, and I would be very excited to be able to be a liaison for the planning and zoning boards as well.
Thank you. Mr. Kumar.
So two positions I would like. Being an engineer, I would like to be assigned to the planning and zoning board because I think I can think about issues and think in a analytical way how to resolve those issues. The second, I would like to actually assign to the senior citizens. And the reason being is, I want to tell you one small story. I came to this country, I didn't know what scouting was. My son joined the Boy Scouting. He became an Eagle Scout at 279. And we did a project entertaining on his Eagle Scout project with the senior. And my wife being a licensed practical nurse in Residential County Nursing Home, I think those seniors can give us valuable lessons of life. So I would like to sit with them and listen to their stories and improve their life. And I'm here to serve them.
Thank you. Zubair Ahmed.
So I'd like to, as a business owner, obviously, I'd like to be part of the planning zoning board as well, to help bring a perspective as a business owner who has done business in Colonie on how we could help and maybe help streamline some of the processes. Another place I'd like to participate is with the Colonie Police Department. I've worked very close with them over the last several years and other organizations. They run security details for a lot of the centers that I'm affiliated with within the town of Colonie. And I've spoken and kept in touch with a lot of the higher administration there and know what the challenges and some of the needs are. So I'd love to be part of that team. I think they're a phenomenal team and they've actually helped us out in a lot of ways as well. So I would love to be part of that.
Thank you. Mark McCumber.
Thank you. I'm glad to serve any job that I've given, but when you boil it all down, I love in improving the quality of life. So a couple of committees I'd love to be on is the Parks Committee. However, Jeff Madden, our councilman, is doing a fantastic job there. So I'll kind of have to wait my turn. But that's a quality of life issue that I think I could help out with. The other one is the senior service. So I believe the way we protect our kids and take care of our senior citizens says a lot about our character and our community. And I believe I'd love to help out in that area because I know I'll be improving the quality of life for our seniors.
Thank you. Mr. Fields.
Well, if you look inside a police car, it's like looking inside a computer. It's unbelievable. I think I'd like to ride around in a police car if it wasn't too dangerous. And the police is one department I think be very, very interesting to learn more about parks and recreation. I'm always a big proponent because, obviously, with 16 grandkids and having 4 sons, I always had to find something for them to do, out of my wife's hair and out of their mother's hair. So seniors, always had actually bartended at the Elk Club, for many years, and as a result, there were quite a few seniors there, and, it's a wonderful thing to learn and listen to stories. What they have to offer is just pretty phenomenal, and, how they live their lives, and today, so many seniors are so healthy. When I was 25, you didn't know anybody. 90, now you know people mowing their lawns at 90, so pretty incredible.
Thank you. Mr. Nyland?
As someone who has experience renovating parks in our town, involved with youth organizations that utilize our parks, I do see some of the challenge that, our youth leagues facing in town. So I would enjoy serving on our Parks and Rec and, continuing those relationships with our leagues. And
Okay, thank you. I'm going to, sorry, I'm going to rudely glance. I can't see that clock. It's dark. 20 by there. I'm going to do 3 more questions. Do 3 more questions, and then we'll do closing statements. So you know what's coming. All right, Mr. Kumar, I'll be starting with you on this one. Do you think town government has a role in mitigating or adapting to climate change?
I think being an environmental engineer, I agree that town should take a position on this issue. And I will start with a couple of things. I think green infrastructure projects, where I fund a lot of projects, are one of the great examples where town should invest. Second thing, I think town should focus on trying to bring more green canopy so that we can reduce environmental impacts due to heat, also reducing the energy cost. Third thing, which I feel that the most important part town can do is start looking how we can reduce our pollutions. So especially on police cars and other emergency vehicles, we can use battery operated vehicles, which can help.
Thank you. Mr. Ahmed?
So I think this has to be a collaboration with, other areas of government, be it county, state, and federal. Yes, it does trickle down, but I think we can only do so much. I mentioned earlier about alternative energy ideas, such as solar panels, possibly on municipal buildings to offset energy costs, things like that could help. But really, it's a collaboration with the larger government and their policies. That's what I see going.
Thank you. Mr. McCumber?
This is, again, a very important issue. That conversation should be at the forefront of everyone's mind. The town of Colonie is already leading in this area. This past April, the town of Colonie was designated a bronze level certified smart community by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. We've achieved this rating through implementing smart land uses that were identified in the 2019 comprehensive plan, and through education programs, yard waste program, and among other projects. There's one project that I'd like to identify, and it's already been mentioned tonight. The town has already replaced 4,000 lights around the town with LED lighting. This is both saving energy and a cost savings to the taxpayer. This one project has saved town of Colonie residents over $400,000 already.
Thank you. Mr. Fields?
A couple of things come to mind. There was a general, I'm not sure what service he was from, but he said in speech, which was given to a graduating class, a college graduating class, said, make your bed every day, right? So, and then from there, you can go out and do whatever needs to be done, but do that every day as a discipline, gives an individual usefulness and just something that's a discipline, put it that way. And when I was elected, I had bumper sticker that I was giving out. It's Colony Proud, Keep It Clean. And I think we can all agree, I mean, it's an environmental thing, but if we drive around town, we can see in certain areas how a lot of litter is created, not such a nice scenery as far as that goes. And the other thing I think, before we really speak about there's that documentary that I think everybody should see. It's called An Inconvenient Truth. And it was 106 by Al Gore.
I'm gonna, thank you, stop it there, but if you have a card, just remind you folks to have those cards if you'd like more time. Mr. Nyland, thank you.
Make Colony a more sustainable community and adapt to climate change will require a comprehensive and coordinated approach that involves local government, community members, and business leaders. I am committed to continuing to improve Colony's Climate Smart Communities Certification Report. We can increase our use of renewable energy such as solar, geothermal. We can achieve this through policies that encourage renewable energy production, incentives for energy efficient improvements, partner with local utilities. I don't agree with forcing energy efficient upgrades on homeowners, business owners, but we should ensure everyone is aware of any incentives or grants that are available. This year's town budget talks about the significant cost of electricity. With our pumps, the water department, we should explore ways to save on that by using renewables, which in turn can save the taxpayer money.
Thank you, and Ms. Please.
Thank you. In 2018, New York State identified Colonie as a climate smart community, which means we were dedicated to reducing gas emissions and adapting to the changing climate. As Mr. McCumber said, earlier in 2023, we received the bronze certification. This is a testament to Colonie's dedication to ensuring that we're doing everything we can to provide a sustainable future. We've secured a $146,000 grant from the Department of Energy to upgrade the windows at Town Hall. We are continuing exploring other grant opportunities and funding possibilities to assist in EV charging stations throughout town. It's our responsibility from a town level to ensure that we're exploring all opportunities and avenues to ensure to get funding and to push them into the community.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Ahmed. Broadcasts of Colony public meetings are difficult to follow and not fully informative since the viewers cannot tell who is speaking at any given time. Do you believe that the broadcasts are an important part of keeping an open and participatory government? And if so, what would you do about this problem?
Absolutely. I think we should, if we've learned anything from the pandemic, we need to provide alternatives for people that can't make it to the town board meetings. And this could be for a number of reasons. There are, limitations on work or schedules, or even maybe health-related issues. So I think definitely we need to keep broadcasting and have these options available for people to view. As far as working on it, I don't have an answer for that. But that's something I would work with, encourage the board to hire or seek consultant from some kind of technology firm to see how we can make that better. And again, maybe do some studies in what other places that have run into the same similar problems have done as well.
Thank you. Mr. McCumber.
Live streaming of our meetings is very important. And in fact, we are already increasing or improving our ability to do this. We're adding new cameras, new sound systems. It's already being in place. It's going to be installed. Like I said earlier, it's very important for the residents of Colonie to be able to see exactly what we're doing there, and we're already taking steps to fix it.
Thank you. Mr. Felix.
Yeah, numerous people tell me that they do watch it. Of course, you can watch it after the event as well. And certain segments of it as far as that goes too. So yeah, I'm very excited about the new production equipment that they're installing in the for the meetings, and all the meetings actually for that matter, planning board, IDA, and what have you. So no doubt that having these available for people who have busy lives and maybe watch them later on and then have some kind of partake and actually write in or call in, see something that they would like to make a comment on.
Thank you. Mr. Nyland.
I think it is important that we make it easier to view our meetings from home, and I am glad to hear Mr. McCumber, Mr. Fields answer that is, we are working towards that. You know, it helps with transparency in local government, which strong supporter of.
Thank you, and Kristen Blades.
Thank you. I believe broadcasting our meetings is extremely important for the transparency to the residents in town. I watched a number of meetings online because I was unable to attend them in person for a number of reasons, whether it's sickness or work or childcare. And allowing our residents to be able to watch the meetings and go back and review them even after they've attended allows them to answer some of the own questions that they may have had once leaving them. We are working on the video and the microphone use in town hall. It's a work in progress as far as identifying who's speaking during each individual meeting. That's something that we would have to explore in greater detail.
Thank you, and Asim Kumar.
I totally agree that live streaming is very important, but I am going to take it one step further. I would say that we should start publicizing about the meeting's agenda at least 2 weeks in advance, so people can schedule their life around if they want to attend this meeting. Also, I would like to say that we should allow these people, if they have questions because of their disabilities or for some other reasons, they cannot come and attend the meeting, so we can answer their concerns, because we are here to serve the people.
Thank you, and for our final general question of the evening, I'm going to start with Mr. McCumber. Correct, yes, okay. Like I said, getting a little confused by the end of the evening, so I don't know how you're all doing. You're all doing great. Okay, with the town growing, are staffing levels among the police department, fire department, and emergency medical services adequate? Should they be adjusted, and if so, why?
I served in the Navy. That's where I learned the importance of service. Those individuals that become police officers and are willing to put their lives in danger to protect someone they don't even know, or our EMS service that will be there to take care of us. It's probably one of our most scariest moments of our lives. For the firefighters, who will also first to respond whenever we need help, they deserve our utmost respect and support. Everyone needs to feel safe in this community. If they feel safe, they can live the life that they want to live. Staffing is an issue, but the problem is getting recruits to come in. A couple years ago, if we gave a test for the police, there would be over 300 applicants. This year, I believe there were 79, and then only 50 showed up for the physical. Recruiting is difficult. We have to make sure that we are supporting the police, creating an environment where they want to come and work for us. If we don't create that environment for them to be here, then it's going to be tough to continue to recruit.
Thank you. Mr. Fields.
Recently, we had, I think, 7 officers going away from training, which was really a beautiful sight. Some of which I know that they went to school with my grandkids locally. They said my grandkids went to just about every school in Colonie. And watching these kids go off, I thought 78, 79 applicants was quite a bit. I know it's a lot more than the cities, obviously, Schenectady, Albany, and Troy. But what I love about our police force, they're just a no-nonsense bunch. And, you know, just being with them, you know, when I go do a ribbon cutting for Supervisor Trummy, I tell the business, I said, you couldn't be in a safer environment, you know, anywhere in the capital district and in the town of Colonie. So feel free, as I say, to pass that on to your employees, that, you know, we have this force here that's, you know, fantastic.
Thank you. Mr. Nyland.
As a town board member, you have a responsibility to your town and its residents. Listen to your department heads who are competent in their line of work and make evidence, fact-based decisions. I would be willing to sit down with department heads regularly and make sure they're at their staffing levels that they do need, especially our police department. You know, we can take into account factors such as population, crime rates, and I think that's one of the most, you know, important lines of work where they do need to be properly staffed. They need to be given the resources needed to safely do their job and return home to their families.
Thank you. Ms. Blades.
Thank you. I've had the opportunity to speak with multiple department heads over the last few weeks about staffing, to include the police, the fire, and the EMS personnel. It's an ongoing issue. It's something that needs to be addressed, and it's actively being worked on. We have created incentives. For instance, we are pushing forward a tax incentive to the firefighters in town. Although I do think that we need to work on providing further incentives for all of our employees around town. We used to be the highest paid police department in the capital region, and that's no longer the case. We need to be more mindful of the increase in salaries across the community, and we need to be able to adequately compensate our staff and provide the incentives in order to get them to come work here for us.
Thank you. Mr. Kumar.
A lot of things has been said before. I will just say that I will be fully supportive getting our police force and EMS staff and all the other heads, staffing and other resources we need.
Thank you. And Mr. Ahmed.
I echo the sentiment up here as well. I think staffing, needs are a problem everywhere, but I think it's very important that we take care of our first responders. A lot of the residents are unaware of the daily dangers that these people put, themselves in. There's a lot of things that go, kind of unseen, and that's what keeps our town safe, and it's because of these first responders. So I'd be fully for them, whatever we need to do, whether it's looking at other options, maybe lateral movements from other departments, or things like that, whatever the department heads, have in mind, I would be open for discussion, and we try my best to facilitate that as a town council.
Thank you. That concludes the questions. I'd like to thank our community again for all of the questions that came in. Some of you had questions about the questions as we went through these, I noticed, and I think that is testament to the questions that came in from community members, trying to find out what's going on in government, and even though maybe like this example about the money for the town board meeting technology, that there's an opportunity there to continue sharing that information. So thank you to the community for those wonderful questions this evening. Just want to remind our group up here on the stage, when we do our closing statements, we're going to do the reverse order from the way we started. So that means Paul will be starting with you and working this way, okay, in a few moments. We'd like to thank you all again for demonstrating your civic engagement by being here tonight. Thank you so much for being here, and please encourage those that couldn't attend, friends and family and neighbors, to watch the recording. Again, the Spotlight Newspapers has recorded this event, and within about a day or day and a half, it'll be available. Don't forget to check out vote411.org, which is the League of Women Voters national website for election information around the country. But it's also very locally focused, so you can check vote411.org or the Albany County or New York State Board of Elections website. Everything's becoming a lot more streamlined. You can put in your address and you'll get information for the election and even sample ballots specifically for your community. If you have any questions about the League of Women Voters, please do not hesitate to ask me or Tom, our full-timer here this evening. Membership for the League of Women Voters is open to anyone who is 16 years and older. Most importantly, don't forget to vote. On voter registration day, I was working at Market 32 in Guilderland, and a lot of people told me that they were registered to vote. I just want to remind everyone to actually vote, which is different than just being registered. So now we're going to take closing statements, and each candidate will have 1 minute. So we're going to start with Mr. Paul Nyland.
Thank you again to everyone in attendance here tonight. Thank you to my fellow candidates for the opportunity to discuss important issues facing our town. Throughout this discussion, we have heard a range of perspectives and ideas on how to make Colonie a better place to live, work, and raise a family. As we look ahead into the future, I'm committed to working tirelessly to address the challenges facing our town, whether it be retention of workers, improving our infrastructure, public safety, maintaining low taxes, or protecting our environment and drinking water. I believe the town of Colonie has a bright future ahead, but it will take hard work and collaboration to get there. I'm ready to be a partner in the efforts. I hope to earn your vote and trust in this election. John F. Kennedy once said, "Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer." Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Nyland. Mr. Rick Fields.
I would love to be your councilman and continue to be the deputy supervisor of the town of Colonie. because as I say, I love this town. My father loved this town. He was a supervisor going back a few years, for 18 years. And it was gratifying when I was, sworn in. He held the Bible, and actually it was Judge Colonie at the time, swore me in. And again, after 95 meetings over the course of the last 4 years, you write down what you've been, what you've accomplished, and it's rather extensive. And as I say, I actually hope that my wife will let me buy a boat so I can boat launch it off the Mohawk, down the Mohawk River, Town Park, come next springtime. But there's no doubt that in the area here, it's so much more affordable, going door to door and looking at homes and talking to the homeowners and stuff. Knowing the values of the homes and so on, everyone would be paying.
Mr. Felix, I'm going to say your time is up. Thank you for your closing statement. Mr. McCumber.
I would like to again thank the sponsors of this forum and the candidates who participated. Colonie is a very large and complicated town, and it takes a strong team to manage it. I've worked with Supervisor Crummy as a member of his team since he became supervisor. First as a member of the Conservation Advisory Committee, and then as a town board member. Peter has built an impressive team, and under his leadership, it's working hard every day for the residents of Colonie, and we are getting the job done. The residents of Colonie can feel it. Our team is keeping us safe, we're being fiscally responsible, and still improving our roads, drinking water, and parks. It takes a strong team to run a town the size of Colonie. Rick, Kristen, and I are all members of Peter's team. When a team is winning for you, it's not time to change the players. A vote for us is a vote to keep a winning team on the field, and we will continue to build a better Colonie. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Zubair Ahmed.
Again, thank you to the sponsors, to the candidates, and to the audience for coming out tonight. With over 60 members of my extended family living in Colonie spanning the years, I am Colonie. I was raised here, I graduated here, I worked here, and I live here. So I ask that you support my campaign and vote for me on November 7th so that I can focus on working for the people of this great town, Colonie, and building on an already great bipartisanship. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Asim Kumar.
I want to thank my fellow candidates who are present here tonight. I would like also thank our moderator for hosting tonight's event, and I would especially like to thank our audience who have taken time to listen to us. I believe I have the work and life experiences needed to make a significant contribution to our town. As a registered independent since 1997, I want to bring my independent voice to the town board. As the only engineer on the town board, I would be most qualified to protect our town's critical infrastructure. As an immigrant, I know how great our community and our country is. I want to do everything in my power to make Colonie an even better place to live. I have an opportunity to visit more than 40% of houses, and I would say that as a town board member, I will always put sound policy above petty politics, and I will always be available to listen to all your thoughts. I ask for your support in this election so that we can make a difference. Thank you for your time. God bless USA and Colonie.
Thank you. Ms. Kristen Blaze.
Thank you. I would like to again thank the League of Women Voters, Spotlight News, and Colonie Chamber for hosting tonight's debate. I would also like to thank the members of the audience and the individuals who submitted questions to make this event successful. We discussed a number of topics facing our town today, and each candidate had the opportunity to voice their accomplishments, proposals, and beliefs on how each should be handled. I sit before you today to pledge my dedication to ensuring we continue on the path of keeping Colonie the staple of the Capital District, supporting our police, fire, EMS, all members of our town workforce, supporting upgrades to our infrastructure, keeping taxes low and affordable, and continuing to promote our parks and recreational programs are vital to our town's success. I thank everyone for their time tonight, and I look forward to your support during the upcoming election season.
Thank you. This concludes our forum for the 2023 candidates for Colony Town Board, and you may now join me in applauding the candidates.